Joe Pistone, better known as Donnie Brasco, was a legendary undercover FBI agent who was the subject of the 1997 hit movie Donnie Brasco. There was also a book released in 1988 detailing Joe Pistone's undercover work with the FBI, mainly his infiltration of the Bonanno crime family from around the late 70s to the early 80s. Pistone, I believe, quit the FBI, then he came back to work with them at some point in the 90s. And there was an undercover operation going on in Cleveland. There was an undercover FBI agent posing as a strip club manager, and he was infiltrating mob associates in the Cleveland area. And during his investigation, he found himself in Florida, and he was out on a boat with mob associate Sam Vecchio and his son Jimmy. And they brought in another undercover FBI agent to pose as a friend of the FBI agent posing as a strip club manager. And they brought in Joe Pistone. I don't know what undercover name he was using in this investigation, but he was out on the boat with Vecchio, his son, and the two undercover agents. So Sam Vecchio starts talking about how they have to be on guard. They can't let the FBI infiltrate their criminal enterprises. And, he's speaking of the tactics they use, and he brings up the book Donnie Brasco. I don't know if he had the book with him as well, but he starts talking about the book Donnie Brasco, how he's reading the book, and he's learning about the FBI's investigative tactics and what have you. Now, obviously, what's amusing is half the people on the boat are FBI agents, and even more amusing is Donnie Brasco himself is on the boat, who was the subject of the book. And several weeks later, and Vecchio gives the undercover agent in Cleveland 2 copies of the book Donnie Brasco, one for himself and one for Joe Pistone, which is even funnier that he's handing out these books to Donnie Brasco himself. He could have got an autographed copy. Maybe it would have been worth something. But Sam Vecchio had long ties to the Cleveland crime family, dating back to his youth when he was involved with the unions and some attempts to take over various unions in the Cleveland area. He was also tied in very close to Mafia captain Joseph Gallo. He was partners with Gallo in several ventures, including real estate. He even owned the home in Pepper Pike, I believe it was Pepper Pike, that Gallo lived in with his family. And then he rented it back to Gallo at basically a loss. So it almost looks like Gallo was actually the true owner, just not on paper. But he ended up getting indicted with I think it was 60, 70 other people in 1998 when the hammer dropped. And he probably got a hold of the wiretap or body recorder conversation on that boat and probably felt a certain way that he was talking to the legendary Joe Pistone, a.k.a. Donnie Brasco, about investigative tactics, which was pretty amusing.